Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to my channel. We all do it. We create these glossy pictures of perfect versions of what early retirement will look like. No alarm clocks, no deadlines, spontaneous trips, long lazy mornings with coffee that never gets cold. These fantasies are comforting. They get us through the stressful seasons of life. And for some people, their retirement actually does look like that. But even then, it's never the whole story. Because any time we look forward to something big, whether it's retirement, a dream vacation, a holiday, or even a major life milestone, we almost always romanticize it. We create this expectation that the moment we cross some imaginary finish line, everything will suddenly feel lighter, better, easier, as if the circumstances alone will fix whatever's been weighing on us. But as they say, we take ourselves with us. If you're burned out, that burnout will follow you. If you're stressed and overwhelmed, those feelings don't just magically vanish in a new routine. And if you've been carrying emotional weight, you carry it into retirement too. It's a bit like moving to a new city because you think a fresh start will make you happy. But once the boxes are unpacked, you realize you're still you. The scenery changed, but your inner world didn't, at least not right away. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I fantasized about early retirement, I imagined ease, time, space, a sense of freedom that I'd never had before. And I quickly realized that early retirement isn't a magic cure. Emotionally, I was not in a good place. I wasn't energized, I wasn't inspired, and I certainly wasn't floating around feeling free. I was depleted, and just as I was trying to catch my breath and figure out who I was outside of my work, life decided to shift all at once. My youngest daughter moved out. I became an empty nester, something I thought that I was prepared for, but the reality felt heavier than I had expected. Then, just as I was adjusting to that change, another wave hit. My grandson was born with a degenerative disease and disabilities, something no parent or grandparent is ever ready to hear. I didn't just grieve the diagnosis. I grieved the life I had imagined for him and the life that I had imagined for my daughter as a new mom. It was a complicated, heavy kind of grief. And while all of that was unfolding, a close friend's health began declining. Watching someone you care for slowly fade is heartbreaking, and when he passed away, it added another layer of loss in a time that already felt overwhelming. Then came another blow. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. The worry, the appointments, the treatments, the waiting, it all became part of my everyday life. So here I was, in early retirement, thinking I was stepping into this new chapter of rest and freedom, while wrapped in grief, fear, and emotional exhaustion. Early retirement wasn't a peaceful transition. It was a crash course in my identity, my emotions, and a series of life changes that demanded every bit of strength that I had left. And now here I am 4 years later. I can say that I am in a different place emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. My mom has finished treatments and is doing well, and I've moved through the heavy part of grieving my friend. And I spend lots of time with my grandkids. And when people ask me now if early retirement was worth it, my answer is absolutely yes. Not because it was easy and not because it looked like a fantasy, but because I was available for life. It's worth it because I was able to be fully present for the people I love. It was worth it because I grew emotionally, mentally, and creatively in ways that wouldn't have been possible if I stayed in the same cycle that I was in. And that, I realize, is the greatest gift early retirement gave me. I was able to spend hours, days, and even weeks sitting beside my daughter in the hospital with her son. I was able to be there with my friend at the end of his life, and I was able to help my mom through cancer treatments and stay with her after surgery and make sure she wasn't alone. None of these moments are glamorous. They're not the images we picture when we dream about retirement. But I am so incredibly grateful that I could show up for all of them. And in between the heavy moments, I also had space to take trips to breathe and rest, learn completely new skills, write, illustrate, and publish children's books, start this YouTube channel, and learn filming and editing. Early retirement didn't give me a perfect life. It gave me time to grow, to support, and to heal. When we picture early retirement, we tend to imagine the highlight reel, the freedom, the slower mornings, the chance to finally do all of the things that we've been putting off. And yes, those moments exist, they really do, but they're only part of the story. The bigger truth is that life doesn't pause just because you stop working. Challenges still come and relationships still change. Health issues arise, and the emotional work that you didn't have time to do before, well, it often catches up with you the moment that your schedule finally opens up. And that's why flexibility becomes the most important skill that you can bring into retirement. Your life may not look like the fantasy you built in your head. Sometimes the things that you envision take longer. Sometimes they shift entirely, and sometimes life asks you to focus on things that you never planned for. Being flexible allows you to adapt without feeling like everything is falling apart. It gives you the space to pivot, adjust, and grow through whatever season you're in. A lot of people think retirement will automatically make them happier. But the truth is, you bring your emotional patterns, your stress, your fears, and your unresolved feelings right into retirement with you. Freedom doesn't erase the inner world, it just gives you more room to face it. And that can feel uncomfortable at first. But it's also one of the biggest opportunities this season brings. The chance to heal, reset, rebuild with intention. When your schedule clears, you start noticing things you overlooked before. What actually matters, what drains you, what brings you joy, and what you want your next chapter to look like. You learn how to let go of the things that used to consume you, worrying about the future, replaying the past, and trying to control things that were never really in your control. You start realizing how much energy you spent on things that didn't matter as much as you thought they did. Early retirement has taught me that presence is everything. Being here, fully here, matters more than any plan, any goal, any fantasy about what retirement should look like. It's the little daily moments that become the most meaningful. A walk where you actually notice the world around you, a conversation that feels unrushed, or a laugh with your grandkids, a quiet afternoon where your mind feels settled and not scattered. These aren't the moments we picture when we dream about retirement, but in the end, they're the ones that create the most fulfillment. The real question is, am I living in a way that aligns with who I am now? When the storm passes, you get to stand on the other side with a new sense of clarity. You start to understand what matters to you, what you want to carry forward, and what you want to let go of. And that is the deeper gift of early retirement. Not perfection, not a fantasy, but alignment, presence, and the freedom to grow into the next version of yourself.